Hey parents, it's Jason here, and today we are going to talk about a bias that can help you with your parenting and groom a better child for leaders of tomorrow and to break the karmic chain so that they become better. All right, let's get to it. So, in this video, we're going to talk about the survivorship bias. So, what is the survivorship bias? The survivorship bias works like that. They look at only their focal point and their focus attention only focus on the success or the surviving kind, and then they totally overlook or neglect the ones that they don't. Okay, so, for example, they don't make music like they do. 100-year-old says that the secret is smoking a packet a day. A guy on IG lost weight on a diet, so it must work. So they look at all the success. They don't look at all the failures or all the things that didn't work. They only look at the things that work. So how does this apply to your kids or during your parenting? Is that we ourselves as parents, you yourself as parent, you will fall into this tendency when you might compare them with people who are successful. Now, instead of looking at that, what you want to do is look at the process that made the kid successful. Did they go for certain tuition? Did they go for certain adjustment, curriculum, and things like that help them differently, right? So some parents might even be thinking that, oh, it's a talent thing, it's a genius thing. It's not. It's usually a process thing, right? Kids before the age of 3 usually can be very well adjusted to whatever you put inside of their head. Okay, so let's look at this survivalship example, right? Survivorship bias. Look at this plane, right? You can see two different spots. One is with full of red spots, another one is the ones without the spots, right? Or the green boxes. So the green boxes versus the red aeroplane, the red dots. What does it mean? So this happened in a very famous German, I think it's a German plane. What happened is that they flew back from the war, and then they look at this plane that has all the holes in the plane when it came back. So what happened is that the engineers or the whoever, right, they immediately say that, wow, all these places that were hit by the enemies, we must reinforce them immediately. If not, then we are lucky that it survived this time. So they were looking at all the holes that it can be visible, correct? Now, but what they neglect to see, right, is that uh, the places that were not hit, the green boxes, are the ones that they really should reinforce, because all those red dots that were hit, they were hit, but the plane still safely came back. Okay, but if, let's say, right, the green boxes areas were hit, the plane would not make it back at all. Make sense? So the essence is that the engineers should be reinforcing the areas that were not hit. So when this so when this happens, so the whole idea is when you are parenting your kid, okay, we tend to follow the advice from our parents. For example, they say things like, my grandma ate fried fruit every day, smoked, and also can live until 95. What? So it must be okay, right? Not really, because there are thousands, if not millions, of others, right, did not live to 95. Correct? And then another one says that another kind of a group of people would say something like, we never took vitamins before, so we are fine and we were fine. So my kids don't need vitamins. Well, is that really true? Because what about other children who had to suffer with poor immunity, with all kinds of other kind of things like eczema and things like that, right? So just because a someone survived or you survived without it doesn't mean that it is the truth of it all. And at the same time, maybe you survived, okay, because of certain areas that were not triggered. That makes sense? Okay, so like for my own story, right? I had a lung punctured without me realizing. An incident that I could have been gone within 24 hours. I've had shingles growing up. Didn't know, and then it keeps triggering. And then when I was in extreme stress, it triggered until I had Bell's palsy. I couldn't talk. I was slurring my speech. I had no energy to walk. Every day was a torture, was a struggle, was a nightmare. And then I realized that it's not about what I eat that caused the shingles. It was what I didn't eat. It was what I was avoiding for the longest time. And then after that, you know what I'm trying to say, right? Okay, so that is something like that. So if your child, let's say they ate something, they have allergy for the first time, right? The truth is that it's because they didn't eat it for the longest time. So how do you reinforce that habit not to eat that particular item? Especially parents with eczema, children suffering from eczema, right? Eating McDonald's and eating fast food will cause them their flare and triggers to show up, right? So it's the not eating it, the habit of not eating it, that you must reinforce the habit. When you need to reward the behaviors of not eating the McDonald's. Fair enough? All right. So we'll talk about the habits reinforcement next time. But in today's, we cover only the survivorship bias. Sounds good? Good. All right. Now, for the rest of the class, I want to talk to a few of the parents who is maybe in sales, in business, or in company, right? And you might want to learn how to overcome these kind of biases, these kind of psychological mental traps during your selling and closing during your sales, okay? Now, so for those of you who are in sales, who are in selling, who are in closing, especially if you're in the industry of health and wellness as well as education, I have a mission for the next 10 years that I want to impact and influence over 1 million families to help them become even more healthier, to become healthy again, and for their children to have a really bright future, because we never know, right, which child can become our leaders of tomorrow, okay? So if you're in one of these three industry especially, pay close attention, because I'm very passionate to help you go to the next level with your business and your company, okay? Especially if your sales are not consistent, you're very good at teaching, you're very good at healing, but you're very bad at selling and closing. You're losing deals all the time, and you are always constantly having disagreement with yourself in your moral principle, at the same time with the prospects as well, and you're always making decisions that is in disagreement with yourself when it comes to your business, your product. You know, you look at others, they are making money, right? This is a very common survivorship bias at work. What happened is that they look at other people who is making money. For example, right, when I tell you things like that, how a tutor went from earning 1,000 per month to 100,000 in 99 days, right? Some people, what happened is that they'll fall into the trap that they must go and repeat what those other people are doing, even if it disagree with them, because they look at because the survivorship bias kicked in already. They look at how people survived and they needed to survive, so they do things that are very, very, very in disagreement and misalignment with their whole entire soul and spirit of their life. Okay, so what you want to do is understand this. The methods of an eagle does not work for a duck. You need to know whether you're an eagle, you're a duck, or you are a parrot or a pigeon. Okay, so second, I'm going to show you how a fund manager makes over $29,000 in 16 days and get paid to pitch to a room of hot investors to invest with him. And number three is how you can accomplish your dream goals this year. Who will this work for besides people who are in health and wellness and education? It simply works for everyone, whether you're in sales, financial services, real estate professionals, or you're selling online marketing, especially if you're involved in kind of relationship. That's why parents, you're going to love this, okay? Speakers and coaches, education and consultants, even if you're just an employee, so to speak, right? But you have recently elevated into the leadership role in the corporate world, it will work for you as well, okay? So even though I teach in the sense of selling and closing, the principles behind what I teach covers all areas of your life. How do you use it in your daily life is just a contextual experience from there, okay? And I've been doing this for the almost 20 years now, since 2011. And when it comes to sales results, right, okay, it has already produced and provided over 10 million in combined sales with all my graduates. Now, first, I want you to listen to what Saifu have to say.
Hi everyone, this is Saiful Rizal, the founder of Mathologies. I just got off a call with Jason Lim, and I must tell you how valuable his time really is. He gave me one simple advice, just one small tip that allowed me to double the number of people that came to my workshop, and then after that, of course, it created even more sales for me, amounting to roughly $15,000. What he has structured for me, he has critiqued for me, I think will easily, potentially double or triple my return on investment, and that is something that is very difficult to do.
Anyone else can resonate to that part where it says it's very difficult to do because how our rising inflation, rising competition is causing all of this problem, right? Okay, so very quickly in the next 5 minutes, I want to show you all the results that have been produced, so you know that the results are proven. And if you are interested, then simply just reach out or follow the instruction that comes with this video, and then we will get started from there. Sounds good? All right. So 21,000 in the month of November for this, and then at the top you can see that there's a total that we can that is cumulative. I'll show you the total number of results that you've been created. This is $56,000. Look at this, a young boy closing his first $20,000 deal. Okay, he called me at almost 9 p.m. By 9:30 p.m. or 9:40 p.m. he closed a client for $20,000. I asked him, hey, did any of the teaching I gave you help? Truly helped me build my confidence and gave me clarity on how to control and navigate the conversation. Look, parents, I don't know about you, but $20,000 can actually go a very, very long way, right? And imagine you can do this every single day, every single week, if not every single month, okay? And most importantly is to learn how to break the old belief, right? And what you need is someone with you, guidance, support, and everything, understanding how to find your old belief. If you are already an achiever, you're making $1 million a year, $500,000, $250,000, you are not a super beginner. Sometimes what you need is a guidance, a coach, a mentor to go and see your blind spots, right? That's why they're called blind spots. They are old beliefs that's built on a structure that you don't really know is there, okay? Now, so for example, right, I'm going to show you this, okay? One of the cognitive bias that we have that we're going to talk about is this thing called the confirmation bias. You know what? You look for my video on confirmation bias, you will see it there as well, all right? So breaking down the old belief, okay? Sean made another $20,000 on top of the deals that he closed, okay? Then after he closed another $11,000. Wouldn't that be cool if you have another $33,000 into your life? This one was a laundry business and closed a $50,000 client. So let's do the math here. He closed $50,000 that year, and assuming he only closed 10 clients for the next 12 months, and he does nothing for the next 6 years, okay, he would have made an extra $3.4 million. That would mean in just the last 5 results alone, it's a total of over $3.5 million sales revenue. Does that sound like you wanted something that you want to be a part of on how to overcome these biases, and then at the same time to actually improve the income, and also at the same time the happiness, the relationship that you have in life, right? Because at the end of the day, earning money is not just about the money. It's really about the meaning of how you make the money and what meaning you bring back to the household as well. Agree? Like for example, this gentleman here closing 5 figures in one day, right? 3,005 times 3, that's $10,000. He improved his relationship with his mom. His mom has never cooked for him for many, many years, but because of the finances improving, they can finally have a normal conversation again, right? And then for Stanley, he's a fund manager that made that I thought he closed 30 sign up, but he actually closed 45 customers. All in all, when he first came to me, in the first 16 days, he made over $29,000. Now let's do some forecast over here. If all he did was run another 8 events, it would have added another extra almost $250,000 to his life. And then if he can raise almost about $2 million on average per event, his total extra AUM will be $16 million. And that will come with a 2% fee. Usually that's how fund managers, they charge and earn. So this alone would have an extra $500,000 income and earnings into his life, okay? Now this is another photographer that benefited as well and collected one of his highest expensive package for $8,000. So he collected a $4,000 deposit all within one day. Isn't that cool? All these results are under 100 days. They got results within 30 days, 16 days, 100 days, 50 days, you name it, you know. This is Jia Hao offering a math tuition, and this was his first time actually earning the 2,000. Do you remember, right, the first 2,000 you collected in your life? Can you imagine learning how to create and earn and collect the first 20,000 and the first 200,000 of your life? Would it be possible? Proven by all my graduates that it's very possible, as long as you know how to work around the biases as well as manage your own biases as well, right? So, like, see, this collected the most largest amount in 1 month. So I don't know about you, but what is your most collected amount in the 1 month? Maybe it's 300,000, maybe it's 150, or maybe it's 20,000. That can really help you to have a very long runway. Wouldn't you agree? Right? Now, this one is a 29-year-old kid, right? Just 29. And I asked him to clarify those for those who are reading your testimonial. You broke through your first 20,000 with me in the first 54 days. He said yes. He's just 29. So if you think that you need a lot of talent, a lot of achieving, a lot of family background and support, things like that, not true, right? I made it so that everyone can benefit. Why? Because for two reasons. One, for my own TT, if you ever have the chance to hear the story. But most importantly is this guy, okay? This is one of my earliest graduate. When he came to me, I didn't know he was having trouble, that when the banks were going after him and his furnitures. And then he has 5 children, a newborn, as well as 4 elderly parents and a wife, okay? Now, I don't know about you, but there's almost 10, 11 lives rested on my shoulder without me realizing. I was carrying this amount of load that I didn't even know about the seriousness and the consequences of what he was going through, right? So he learned from me, he implemented, he used it, and this is what he said. My $2,000 deal turned into 2.5 million opportunity over a website pitch. I still cannot believe it. It was such a mind-blowing experience that the pitch had opened doors for me for my life and in ways I could never imagine and never thought possible at all. Thanks, Jason. No, thank you. Thank you for letting me know and helping me realize that people like you are in the program. And this is how I structure and create all my programs, knowing that somebody else on the behind the screen, behind the credit card, behind the plastic, this could be their last chance, right? I created it with those kind of philosophy because of stories like that. They have nothing else really. They have tried everything and nothing worked. They needed this to work. Among everything else, this must work for them, because for some of them, they've already tried so many different causes and nothing worked for them. Okay, so whether you're a beginner or you're advanced or you're a seasonal expert, I've got graduates from all kinds of stages in life. Okay, now I don't know which industry and sector you might be from when you're reading this. Okay, however, if you're especially from the health and wellness space and education, okay, then you can see from the results that this will help you save more life and improve more, live a more meaningful life, right? When people pay for your expertise, when people invest in you, and more importantly is that you are able to bring back happiness and meaning back to your family when your income status is elevated, when you learn how to communicate on an even better way, on a deeper level. Sounds good? So if you're interested in learning the program, then by all means reach out, follow the instruction that comes with this video, and then we will talk soon. All right, until the next video, see you, bye.